Hey, what's going on? It's Darryl, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can write melodies in the style of Mateus Asato. Mateus is very good at a mixture of styles and techniques, but in this video we're going to be focusing on what I think is his most popular, and that's his fingerstyle. Just before we get started, I want to remind you that tabs and transcripts, as always, are available on my Patreon to help you follow along with the video. Now with that said, let's get started. Okay, so let's check this out. Now the majority of the chords that I played at the beginning of the video are all diatonic to the key of C sharp minor. So let me play the chord progression without any of the melody. So we should have this here. So as you could hopefully tell, the majority of these chords are 7th chords. So let's try and learn the piece together, and as I go along I'll explain why the different melodies work and why the notes have been chosen to highlight the general melody. One of the most important aspects of this entire melody that you need to keep going is the percussive side. So we need that beat in the background, which we produce with the side of our thumb hitting the top 2 strings. And at the same time we're going to flick downwards on some occasions because we have a chord in the background that we want to highlight, so we might go. So you see I flick there, and at the same time I've got a nice low end hit there. So the first chord is a C sharp minor 7 followed by an A major 6. So let's check those two chords out together. I'll play it real slow for you. So right away we've got a nice little groove, and if I eliminate the bass notes and highlight the melody, we have something that sounds like this. So now the next two chords we have. So nice and easy there, we just have an E major, followed by a G sharp minor 7 with 2 open strings at the bottom there. I think that sounds really nice. And then we shoot up to our C sharp minor, but we're going to do a different voicing this time. We're going to choose the 11th interval. So that one there, C sharp minor 11. So going from, sounds really nice, and that leads us into the next chord, which is just a B major. So you can see the phrasing is very important in this one, so let me play that slowly for you to analyze. So that sums up the first half. I'm going to play that really slowly now and sort of explain which chord each one is as I go along. So we start off with the 1 chord, which is obviously the C sharp minor, A major 6, which is the 6th, E, which is the 3, G sharp minor, which is the 5, C sharp minor 11, which is of course the 1 again, just a different voicing, followed by a B, which is the 7th degree. Then for the second half, of course, we're going to start on the 1 again, C sharp minor. So far it's exactly the same except for that melody at the end. Just something a little bit more exciting to play with as we transition into the next chord, which again, just like the previous section, is an E. Now this is where it changes slightly to kind of just keep it interesting, something fresh. So we're going to play an F sharp minor 11 here, which is the 4th degree next to E, and then on to the 5th, which is just your G sharp minor, and I've got the 2 open strings there again. For the next chord, which is a minor substitution, so this should be A major, which is the 6th degree of C sharp minor, but we're going to change it for a minor voicing. And that's actually just an A minor 9. Beautiful chord. And then we're going to jump into our 7th degree. So that's a B, but I've just voiced it over an A chord. And then we finish, or we should finish, on a C sharp minor, which sounds great. So if I play that in context. So that works, that brings us back to our root, except it sounds a little bit boring. So to make it more exciting, particularly what Mateus does quite a lot of, is if a song or a piece is in a minor key, he'll often finish on the relative major to bring happiness and magic at the end of the song. So in this instance, we've got so as you can hear on the root, I've just got the E hanging out there. So this implies that it's going to finish on an E major, which is the third degree of C sharp minor, which is the relative major of C sharp minor. So over your E, we've got this melody, which is just playing around with the E major scale in the style of Mateus Asato with a few double stops there. And then we're going to slide down to the 8th of the D string, which gives it a kind of Lydian sound now, rather than just your straight major Ionian vibe. And then we finish with a very magical chord there at the end, which is actually just a drop 2 inversion of your E major 7. So we would have, they're both the same chord, just different voicings, different ways to play them. But I think this particular way sounds a lot more magical than just your standard kind of, so if I did the same phrase with the standard, it would sound like this. So it's kind of predictable in a way, and we want to finish on something that makes you walk away and think, wow, that was a beautiful ending. And I think Mateus is particularly awesome at doing that. He'll often play a piece and finish on a chord that you just wouldn't expect, but you think, my ears just had an orgasm. Key points to creating something like this are to keep a constant groove. You need to be able to play the piece and literally feel the rhythm. It might make you want to sort of move your head a bit, move your body, because it's just so groovy. As I've demonstrated, the chords don't need to be really fancy. They're pretty much diatonic, but maybe you want to throw in a major or a minor substitution once in a while to just change the theme, change the feeling that the piece portrays for a very brief moment before you resolve it back into its original key or maybe the relative major. So hopefully you can use this piece to help inspire you to create your own groovy melodies. Now let's wrap this up by playing the whole thing slowly now for you to follow along. There we go, that's the end of the lesson. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you took something away from this video. As I said at the beginning, if you'd like to download the tab for this video, then check out my Patreon page, which is linked in the description below. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.